Welcome, dear viewer. We're absolutely thrilled to have you here with us today. You're about to embark on a mind-stirring journey into one of the most mysterious and forgotten chapters of human history, the world before the flood. This isn't just a tale, it's a revelation. A time when giants roamed the earth, when divine beings walked among men, and when humanity's greatest glory gave way to its darkest fall. What if the world we know today is just a faint echo of something far greater and far more terrifying? This is the story of the Antediluvian world, a world lost beneath the waters, buried in silence, but still whispering through ancient texts and hidden ruins. So sit tight, open your heart to wonder, and prepare for an unforgettable exploration into the secrets of a world time tried to erase. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to this channel for more inspiring truth-seeking content just like this. Kingdom Inspirations presents to you The Forgotten World Before Noah's Flood, Secrets of the Antediluvian Age Revealed. In this video, we will explore a world long buried beneath time and judgment, the forgotten world before the flood. This was a time of unimaginable beauty, terrifying power, and deep spiritual mystery, a world that has been erased from memory, yet its echoes still shape our present. You're about to discover captivating truths that will forever change how you see history and humanity. 1. The breathtaking beauty and harmony of the original Earth before corruption. 2. The rise of the Nephilim, giants born of forbidden unions. 3. Advanced civilizations with wisdom lost to the floodwaters. 4. The prophetic voice of Enoch, and why his warnings were silenced. 5. Noah's lonely obedience in a world drowning in sin. 6. The terrifying moment judgment began, when the sky wept and the earth split open. 7. The haunting silence that followed, what we must remember before history repeats. Stay with us. What you're about to learn may be the forgotten truth your soul has longed to remember. What happens when a perfect world turns dark? When divine beings cross forbidden lines and giants walk the earth? This story is driven by deep conflict, the clash between heaven's will and human rebellion, between ancient purity and growing corruption. Why did God regret creating man? What secrets were humanity never meant to know? Why was one man, Noah, chosen to survive while an entire civilization was erased? These haunting questions form the heart of this story. As beauty crumbled into chaos, a storm was brewing, and the world had no idea it was already drowning. Before the storm, there was paradise, lush, untamed, alive. Then came shadows in the form of giants and gods, whispering secrets never meant for man. Cities rose, glittering with pride and sin, as one walked with heaven and warned in vain. A lone man built hope with trembling hands, while the skies prepared to break. Waters roared, silence fell, and from the wreckage, only echoes remained, echoes that now call to us, warning, pleading, remember what was lost. Imagine a world untouched by time, flawless, divine, and radiant with life. But beneath its beauty, something dark was rising. Giants walked among men. Angels defied heaven. A civilization intoxicated by knowledge danced on the edge of destruction. One man stood alone, chosen to carry the weight of humanity's last hope. Then came the flood, thunder cracking, earth splitting, the sky mourning. Screams faded into silence. This is not just history, it's a warning, a buried truth. A forgotten world that dared to defy its creator, and drowned in its rebellion. Now, take a deep breath, because what lies ahead is more than a story. It's a journey into a world forgotten by time and silenced by judgment. A world of wonder, betrayal, and divine mystery. Together, we will peel back the veil and uncover truths buried beneath the floodwaters of history. So sit tight, open your heart, and let's dive deep into the lost realm before the rain. The antediluvian world awaits us. Let the story begin. Before the flood swept across the earth, there existed a world untouched by chaos, a paradise where time seemed to stand still. This was the Antediluvian world, a realm of unimaginable beauty, where lush landscapes stretched far and wide, and skies shimmered with a golden glow that bathed everything in warmth. It was a world in perfect harmony, a delicate balance between man, beast, and nature. Every creature, from the tiniest insect to the mighty lion, lived in peace, and the rivers, mountains, and forests seemed to breathe together as one. There was no war, no pain, no sorrow. This was the world God Himself had created, perfect and good. And at the center of it all, two figures stood, Adam and Eve, the first humans, created in His image. They were made to walk with God in the cool of the evening, free of sin and full of innocence, with the entire earth as their home. Their descendants carried the same spark of divinity, building lives in the beauty God had made. But deep beneath this perfection, something was stirring, a slow, creeping shadow that would soon consume this paradise. Before the fall, it was a time of perfect peace, a time that time itself would try to bury forever. In the heart of paradise, something dark began to stir, a hidden force that would twist the course of history. The sons of God, divine beings who once walked in harmony with creation, found themselves drawn to humanity. These celestial beings, entrusted with guarding the earth, defied their divine mandate and took human wives, an act forbidden by heaven itself. From this union came the Nephilim, giants of unimaginable size and strength, born with a power that surpassed anything on earth. Rise came corruption, a deep spiritual rebellion against the natural order and the Creator. The earth began to change, twisted by the influence of these beings and the fallen angels who led them astray. As the Nephilim grew in strength, so did the darkness. The earth, once in perfect harmony, now groaned under the weight of sin. The seed of rebellion planted by these unholy unions would soon bear fruit, setting the stage for a flood that would purge the world of its corruption. The ancient world, once an epitome of beauty and peace, became a place of grandeur mingled with sin. Towering cities of gold rose from the earth, their shimmering spires reaching toward the heavens, built by hands gifted with unparalleled knowledge. The scientific wonders of the time astounded even the gods, and the people sought after spiritual enlightenment, but it soon twisted into something far darker. As wisdom expanded, so did their hunger for power, immortality, and the ability to dominate both the earth and the heavens. The once pure pursuit of knowledge became a blinded obsession, and with it came a dangerous disregard for the sanctity of life. Moral boundaries shattered, violence, sorcery, and dark rituals became the currency of the day. People sought to control the very forces of creation, dabbling in forbidden arts to conquer death itself, to live beyond the limits set by God. But with each step into sin, the glory of civilization decayed, unraveling the very fabric of existence. God, watching his creation crumble, felt a deep sorrow, a grief so profound that his heart ached for the world he had made. It was a civilization that reached too far, touched too much, and in the end, paid the price for its transgressions. Amidst the growing darkness, a voice of hope echoed through the decaying world. Enoch, a man who walked so closely with God that he saw what others could not. He was no ordinary prophet. His divine visions revealed the coming judgment, the flood that would sweep away the corrupt civilization. He saw the cries of the innocent, those oppressed by the giants and the wickedness that had overtaken the land. With burning passion, Enoch warned the people, speaking of God's wrath and the cleansing that was to come. Yet, his words were met with mockery. The people, drunk on their own power and pride, turned a blind eye to truth. The darkness had infected their hearts so deeply that they couldn't hear the whispers of salvation. Enoch's messages of repentance fell on deaf ears, his pleas for mercy ignored. Then, in a moment that would leave the world wondering for generations, Enoch disappeared, taken by God, never to be seen again. His mysterious departure left behind only his prophecies, a testament to a man who had walked so closely with the divine that he was spared from the fate of the world he tried to save. His echoes still ring, a warning to us all. In the midst of a world drowning in sin, one man stood as a beacon of hope, Noah, the last light in a dark world. When God called upon him, the message was clear: build the ark, for a flood of judgment was coming. But Noah's obedience would not come without its trials. For years, he worked in silence, mocked and ridiculed by a society that had long turned its back on God. As he labored, alone in his faith, the world around him laughed, unable to comprehend the gravity of his task. Noah's days were spent gathering materials, hammering boards, and preparing for what seemed an impossible fate. His family stood with him, but the mocking voices of the people never ceased. Isolation became his constant companion, his faith the only thing that kept him going. As the ark took shape, a powerful gathering of animals began. Creatures of every kind, drawn by some force unseen, filling the ark in a spectacle that should have been a sign to the world of the coming judgment. Yet, no one listened. The final warning came, but it fell on deaf ears. The world was too far gone, and soon the doors of the ark would close forever. The day came, a day marked by divine wrath, a day when the heavens wept, and the earth roared in response to the rebellion of mankind. The floodwaters that had once been merely a warning, a distant promise of judgment, now came crashing down. The heavens burst open, and the fountains of the deep broke loose, unleashing torrents of water that swallowed the land. There was no escape, no higher ground, no shelter from the storm. The very foundations of the world trembled, and the earth groaned under the weight of its creator's fury. As the waters rose, fear began to grip the hearts of those who had once laughed at Noah. The world, now drowning in its own sin, experienced the terror of a judgment that could not be outrun. Screams echoed across the land as people scrambled for salvation, but it was too late. The flood swept over them, silencing their cries in an instant, leaving nothing but the crushing weight of loss. Inside the ark, Noah and his family were safe, but the door closed behind them, not by human hand, but by God himself. It was the final act of mercy, a closed door that sealed the fate of a world that had turned its back on the Creator. The world ended, and the waters of judgment covered everything. As the floodwaters receded and the world began to dry, there was an eerie silence, a silence that spoke volumes about the fate of a lost civilization. What was once grand and mighty lay in ruins, swallowed by the very waters that had given birth to its undoing. But from the wreckage came new beginnings, as life slowly began to flourish again. The ark, a beacon of hope, stood as a testimony to the mercy of God and the endurance of faith. Yet, amid this new world, the lessons of the past were in danger of being forgotten. The ancient world had failed to learn, and now it was the responsibility of those who survived to remember what was lost: the harmony between man and God, the balance of creation, and the peril of unchecked sin. As history sought to bury the past, the echoes of the antediluvian world still whispered through the ages, reminding us of what was and what could be again. The flood may have been a judgment of water, but there remains a different flood on the horizon, one of moral decay, spiritual apathy, and the forsaking of truth. The call is clear: reflect now, before the next storm comes. As the story of the antediluvian world comes to a close, we're reminded of the weight of choices, the consequences of turning away from truth, and the eternal power of divine judgment and mercy. Reflect questions. 1. What lessons from the antediluvian world do you think are still relevant to our lives today? 2. How do you think humanity can avoid the mistakes of the past, as seen in this ancient civilization? 3. In your opinion, what do you think is the most important message from the story of Noah and the flood? Feel free to share your thoughts in the comments section below. We'd love to hear what you think. Thank you for staying with us through this journey into a forgotten. I believe this story has inspired you, so don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to this channel for more captivating revelations. Together, let's uncover more hidden truths. See you in the next video. Bye for now.